Welcome to this demonstration of the Turbonomic platform. Turbonomic is an application resource management or ARM platform designed to put your hybrid environment into the optimal state by achieving three primary goals. First, assuring the performance of your applications by making sure that the applications get the resources they need when they need them. Secondly, using limited on-premises and cloud resources as efficiently as possible at the lowest cost. And finally, adhering to any compliance and business policies required by your organization. Turbonomic can help multiple personas in a typical client organization in their daily duties. Let's start with Mark, Enterprise SRE Manager, managing the team of site reliability engineers and responsible for the performance of key business applications, but also for optimizing costs of running them. When the Turbonomic ARM is deployed and selected environments are targeted, Turbonomic discovers all of the entities in the targeted environments. It then builds out this graphic you see here called the supply chain, stitching together all of the entities from the top-level business application down through the supporting infrastructure. This shows the relationships among the various entities and gives you full-stack visibility into your entire hybrid environment, which is very powerful. In this example, Turbonomic is pulling in business applications from application performance monitoring tools like Instana, AppDynamics, Dynatrace, or New Relic. Their associated transactions, services, and application components, containers, pods, and nodes represented as virtual machines from any Kubernetes environment, whether on-premises or in the cloud, virtual machines and storage from on-prem environments like VMware vCenter and public cloud environments like AWS and Azure, physical hosts, storage, and network with many more targets available. No agents are required to be installed as Turbonomic discovers all of these entities automatically via the APIs of the targeted environments and pulls them into a common data model. Within about 30 minutes of discovery, Turbonomic determines the actions required to put this hybrid environment into the optimal state that I mentioned previously. In this optimal state, the demand of the applications is met by the underlying supply of IT resources. On this homepage, there are widgets for top business applications, top business transactions, and top services that allow you to quickly assess the risk to the running applications. Not only can you quickly see the applications with the highest risk, but you can also click Show All to see the complete list of business applications and relevant metrics. This helps prioritize the SRE team effort. For example, if you look at the top business applications widget, you can see the specific application, any resource risk from the underlying infrastructure, if there is a violation of a service level objective like exceeding the desired transactions, the averages and peaks for response time and transactions, and all the actions required to put this application into a healthy state. The underlying infrastructure actions are propagated up to the application so that when you click on Actions, you will see all of the actions that impact the specific application. Enterprise SRE managers usually want to understand the overall status of the infrastructure and long-term utilization trends. Turbonomic provides several dashboards available out of the box, and you can easily build new custom ones. For example, On-Prem Executive Dashboard provides a summary of the status and risks related to an on-premises virtualization resources. At the top of the screen, you can select the time for which you would like to see the data. Below, there are details for virtualization platforms, a summary of the performance, risks, and actions taken. At the bottom, you can find important metrics related to virtual machine density on hosts and storage and how they are changing over time. Similarly, there is a dedicated dashboard for cloud infrastructure called the Cloud Executive Dashboard and a Kubernetes infrastructure, the Container Platform Dashboard. Now, let's see how Turbonomic helps site reliability engineers with their tasks. Compared to the previous role, SRE is usually interested in a specific application status and actions that can be taken to assure its performance, mitigating any risk before they impact end users.
When you scope to one business application, the supply chain view is changing from showing all of the entities in the global environment to only the entities that are relevant to this specific application. This business application consists of 3 business transactions, 2 services, and 3 application components that sits across 3 virtual machines. Those virtual machines sit in one cloud region and are connected to 6 storage volumes. Notice that the entities have different colors, where red indicates performance risk, where entities needs to be moved to a more optimal host, or scaled up because of resource congestion or under provisioning. Yellow indicates efficiency opportunities, where resources can be reclaimed due to over-provisioning, and green indicates entities in their desired state, which is what we are after.
Here, you define a business application as a logical grouping of business transactions, services, application components, and other elements of the application model that work together to compose a complete application as end users would view it. If you scope to the business transaction, it represents a capability within your business application that fulfills a response to a user-initiated request. Its performance directly impacts the user experience. Scoping to the service entity, it is made up of one or more application components that perform a defined, measurable function as part of an internal or user-initiated request. Its performance is key to understanding application performance, but only indirectly impacts user experience. Finally, if you scope to the application component, it is a software component, application code, or a unit of processing within a service that consumes resources to enable it to perform its function for the business application. Turbonomic can recommend actions to adjust the amount of resources available to application components. Turbonomic does not recommend actions for a business application, transactions, or services, but it does recommend actions for the underlying application components and infrastructure entities, thus providing visibility into the risks that have a direct impact on the business application's performance. You can see here in the Pending Actions widget the types of actions that are generated. These can be placement actions to move a virtual machine to the most desirable state or storage from one tier to another, delete actions to remove storage volumes that have been orphaned, scaling actions to resize a virtual machine, container, or database, stop or suspend actions to turn off idle resources to avoid unnecessary charges, and start and buy actions to turn new VMs, provision a new host, or buy reserved instances in the cloud. In this example, there are 789 actions that can be taken to move this hybrid environment into the optimal, or what we call the desired state. You can see there are actions to scale up the virtual CPU or virtual memory of virtual machines, provision actions to add a host in a cluster where resources are low, and move actions to move a virtual machine from one host to another. Because there are hundreds and sometimes thousands of actions in an environment, Turbonomic allows you to apply filters to the list of actions to help you quickly sort the list. Clicking Filter and opening the drop-down, you can filter the actions by action type, action mode, action category, action prerequisite, or entity type. You can also switch to a new view using the toggle switch in the upper right corner. The modernized view helps to browse through different types of actions with the navigation menu on the left. You might ask, how does one know that these are the right actions to take? Well, for each action, Turbonomic shows you not only the current state of the environment, but also the positive impact on the environment if the action is taken. Let's expand a couple of actions to show you what I mean, starting with a move action. If you look at the description of this move action, the VM is moving to a new host due to memory congestion on the current host. For each of the metrics shown, the value on the left is the current state, while the value on the right is the projected state after the action is taken. Next, let's look at a VM scaling action. For virtual machine scaling, Turbonomic uses percentile calculations to measure virtual CPU and virtual memory utilization more accurately, and drive scaling actions that improve overall utilization and reduce costs for cloud VMs. When you examine the details for a pending scale action on a VM, you will see charts that highlight virtual CPU and or virtual memory utilization percentiles for a given observation period and the projected percentiles after you execute the action. An important point to highlight here is that these actions are not simply recommendations on what the user should do. These are actions that can be taken without the Turbonomic platform. For example, if the action mode is set to manual, I can click on this checkbox, scroll up and click Apply Selected, and this VM will move to the new host, or in the case of the resizing action, the VM will be resized. Taking this even further, you can create automation policies so that Turbonomic takes a preventative approach to automatically take these actions before issues occur. This keeps the environment in the desired state without human intervention and minimizes the amount of time that IT teams have to spend debugging application resources after they occur, and assures that the applications get the resources that they need exactly when they need them. In other words, Turbonomic assures that the demand of the application is met in real time by the supply of available IT resources. Finally, these actions can be scheduled to execute during a maintenance window and even get approvals via change request through Turbonomic's integration with ServiceNow. Let's explore how an SRE can set up automation policies. Let's create a single automation policy for virtual machine placement and size. In addition, let's assume that you want placement actions to execute anytime the action is generated, and you want resize up and down actions for vCPU and vMem to occur nightly. Give the policy a name, for example, VM placement size. Let's scope to a group of VMs, and in this case, let's automate within a single cluster. Under Automation and Orchestration, click Add Action. You can choose the action type to move compute scale to automate placement, action generation to generate actions, action acceptance to automatic, then click Submit. To add resize automation, click Add Action again. You can choose the 4 action types: vCPU resize up, vMem resize up, vCPU resize down, and vMem resize down to automate the VM resizes. Set action generation to generate actions, action acceptance to automatic. For resizes, we said you wanted to do them on a schedule between midnight and 5 a.m., which can be done with an action execution schedule. Let's create the schedule. Choose nightly and click Save, then click Submit to save the automation. Then click Save and Apply to apply the policy. You can see that there is a lot of flexibility in setting of policies, and you have full control of those actions if they're taken manually or fully automated. Along with the dashboards that were explored before, Turbonomic provides a dedicated planning tool to help infrastructure managers decide infrastructure changes. You can see there are multiple plan types available for on-premises infrastructure, for Kubernetes clusters, as well as for public clouds. Let's see an example plan for optimizing the infrastructure. When the plan is generated, and it can take a while depending on the environment size, you can see the results. There's a table showing the summary of the infrastructure before and after, and below you can see the detailed list of proposed optimizations. In each section, you can click Show Changes to see the list of proposed changes, and for each proposed change, you can see the details as well as the rationale why this change should be made. These changes can be executed either manually or can be scheduled using the policies that were shown before. Today I have shown you how you can use Turbonomic to optimize your hybrid estate. Turbonomic is an application resource management platform that takes a top-down approach to assure that your applications get the resources they need when they need them. The platform automatically discovers the entities and metrics from the targeted environments, provide full-stack visibility from the application all the way down to the infrastructure, and creates the placement, scale, start and stop actions to optimize the environment all in real time with the goal of assuring application performance while adhering to business logic and compliance, and doing all of this at the lowest possible cost. All of these actions can be automated in order to prevent issues before they occur, so that your IT team can focus on expanding your business rather than reacting to alerts and trouble tickets. Thank you.